Hi everybody. We are going to understand a few things connected to class 12 of CBSE. In the CBSE syllabus, in the class 12, there is a chapter which talks about the ecosystem. We will try to understand a few important understandings and concepts in general and try to know the meaning of and interpretation of ecosystem. That is what we are going to do today. What we do, we will try to know how this is looked at. Eugene Odum, who is called the father of the modern ecology. Ecology refers to the study of the ecosystems. He refers Earth as an important sphere. Like he says that Earth is almost like a spaceship in the entire universe. If we look at, just remember, if we say that this is what we can represent it as a Earth, if we feel that is the Earth, this only for understanding we are doing it. This Earth now is surrounded by gaseous covering that we call as atmosphere. Atmosphere. That's one thing we should know. So we don't go to the details of that because this has got troposphere, then stratosphere, ionosphere, like that it continues to go. So maybe up to 6 to 7 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, and all around we have the atmosphere. So we can imagine Earth is almost like a floating ball in the space with all the structures in that one. And then in the Earth also, you find when you say Earth is Earth. When you say the Earth is now composed of especially minerals, or you can call them rocks and other things, minerals. And it also has all these things like rock, mud, all these things normally we will refer to a lithosphere. Then we also have the entire Earth here and there on the Earth, under the deep into the Earth, etc. We got a covering of the water, and that is called hydrosphere. Hydrosphere means water. Then there is one more very interesting thing that is in the Earth has, that is a very small section of the Earth on the surface of the Earth. Maybe if you think of the biggest tree, maybe about half a kilometer tree, may be possible. So like that we have living systems distributed on the surface and also in the water, sometimes also in the atmosphere. So there is a system or a area on the Earth, everywhere in the water, on the surface of the Earth and in the air. In all the three areas we have what's called the living beings, and that sometimes is called biosphere. So we can now use these things, that is, Earth inhabits all the living beings and also non-living beings, which you have learned in your lower classes as biotic and abiotic. Biotic means of the life, abiotic means without life. These components are there in the total system. So sometimes this one will be called also by name as ecosphere. So ecosphere or biosphere are one and the same, if you want to call that. And now to remember that there is the vast area of the earth is covered by water, and then a small part of it is covered by, or it's not covered by the water, and that place what you call land. On the land we find mountains, you find caves, you find forests, and you find many animals living there, even in the water. That means every part of the earth has some living being. That's why it's called biosphere. So now, having understood that earth is a place where living beings are there. So in the planetary system, as far as today, we know only one planet out of the total planets we have. Earth is the only planet where living beings are there. So in this condition, how the living beings require energy in the form of food, they require water, they require air, and all these things. All these things are provided by the earth. Earth provides, now it has got the atmosphere, it is connected to earth. This atmosphere belongs to us, to the earth. And then it has got the water, it belongs to earth, it belongs to all of us, water. And then it has got rocks, minerals, soil, etc., etc. All these things are there. And the types of living beings present here are also different. So now, this is what we must now remember now. Earth is a planet. On this planet, we have the living systems. And sometimes the spread of living beings on the earth is called biosphere. And there are biotic factors, that means living beings of different forms shall come to them. And there is also abiotic factors, they are non-living. These two factors constantly interact. They interact. That means there is a constant exchange, there is a constant interaction, a constant connectivity between the biotic factors and the non-biotic factors, and that results in a kind of a unit. It's a kind of a unit. They work together, and that system that is working together as a unit is known as ecosystem. It's called system. See, system. The system of eco means all the things available on the earth. That's a system. They interact, and then they help each other in a way. We may know whether we are going to help earth or not. We are helping. If you don't help the earth, then you will be in trouble. If you don't help water to keep it clean, you will be in trouble. So that means to say there is a constant interaction between the two systems, and that is what we call the ecosystem. We will just stop at this point and then try to find out what are the various types of this. We cannot study the entire biosphere. That means we will not be able to know what the biosphere is completely. That's very difficult. It's a vast one. Millions and millions of animals, plants, microbes, all these things are living and therefore we will not be able to study. So to understand how an ecosystem works as a unit, it's sometimes called the functional unit. When you say functional unit, each one of the components like biotic and abiotic, they work together in tandem, in coordinated way to see that the life goes on the earth. So what we do, we will try to now take out the smaller part of the ecosystem. We will not go to biosphere to study what the biosphere is. We shall take up a small area of the ecosystem, and we will say on the earth we can find out ecosystems. You can find out the ecosystem in the, you can call forest as an ecosystem, right? Or we can still make it little more simpler. We can make it like the ecosystem on the land called terrestrial ecosystem. We can also use another term like aquatic ecosystem. So these two are the two major types of ecosystems that we can study. Then we have one more made by man, and that can be called artificial or man-made ecosystem. These two are natural ecosystems. They were existing even man came to earth. They were there millions and millions of years since. There is a terrestrial ecosystem. That means on the land, it is the land. Aquatic refers to water. Again, this may be, water may be, you can think of many areas. It may be sea water, fresh water, like that. And land, we can think of mountain, forest, then the snow area, desert area, all this we can think of that as terrestrial. Artificial ones are made by man, especially the cultivated agriculture and other things, fisheries, like where you grow fisheries. So there is the artificial ecosystem also made by man. So we have all these three types now. When you look at the natural ecosystem, we find the organisms like plants, animals. These occupy different places, different levels. They occupy different levels in the biosphere. And these, that means to say, some of them will be seen in the water, under the water, that is one level. Some of them may be seen at the surface of the water, the surface living, bottom living, and then some plants and animals may live just on the surface of the soil. Some plants may go up to 80 or 100 feet, and then the small plants may be there, much more smaller plants may be there. Like this, there will be different levels of living. This sometimes is known by the name, sometimes the ecologists use the word like stratification. Okay, they are the different levels of that living. They are sometimes called the stratification. Now, we will just try to stop at this point today. So we know we'll have to recollect, that is, ecosystem is a is a system, system refers to a highly coordinated way of working, where the components of the ecosystem, they work in a coordinated way and they function in a coordinated way. Therefore, sometimes is referred to as a functional unit. Functional unit. So functional unit refers to any group of biotic, abiotic factors. There may be 10, there may be 20, there may be 1,000, there may be 2,000, there may be 100 million, any number of them. They work as a unit. What for? They work as a unit for four important things. One, they work as a unit to produce something. They work as a unit to decompose something. They work as a unit to show there is a flow of energy from one system to other system. That means biotic to abiotic and abiotic to biotic. Productivity may be there in the biotic, that may come to abiotic. From there you may go to like this work. And the fourth one will be the nutrient cycle, because when we think of biotic factors, they're all living. Living systems definitely require especially nutrients, what you call food. They require water, they require air. So these are the requirement of the living things. But non-living things may not require food, they may not require air, they may not require water. But they do depend upon living beings for a number of things. We will find out how and what are those things in the next area. So this is the beginning of the ecosystem. Just I made a small introductory part for you, and we can discuss the complete concept of ecosystem in about 5 or 6 sessions of this type. Thank you.